Coders of Reddit. How do you politely refuse your friends' $1 million app idea? Usually by going to the App Store and finding 10 versions of their app idea that already exist. Dude, that sounds insane. I'm slammed with work right now, but when I get a chance you can show me what you've worked on. Spoilers, they haven't worked on it. You will never be free, and the app will never get made. Ask for a wage per hour of coding time. If they are willing to make the investment, then maybe they actually have $1 million app idea. And if they don't, you still get paid. $1 million app ideas generally fall in one of 4 categories. 1 - it already exists. 2 - it will require insane server power and the money to pay for it. 3 - it's illegal. 4 - computers don't work that way. For option 1 I show them the 12 apps that are better than their idea. 4.2 and 4 I get technical and start throwing costs around until they change subject. For option 3 I say it's illegal. I ask them to watch How to Build an App. https://www.youtube.com/playlist. List equals alt 96C3517 A series by Tom Scott. It starts out with, if you think you want to build an app, you shouldn't. It continues in this vein while showing you exactly how to do it. If they still want to do it, we'll talk. I never want to discourage genuine enthusiasm for an idea, so instead of saying too hard, too expensive, already been done, etc., I treat this as an opportunity to teach my friend, company worker, board member or relative, all true examples, to take a stack of index cards and draw a picture of the app starting with the opening screen. Then use a red pen to draw the action that would lead to the next index card where they draw that screen. I tell them to draw as many screens as needed to illustrate how it works. If they can get past this step, they have a much better idea of the flow and complexity of the app from the viewpoint of the user. This process teaches them an enormous amount about software dev. I tell them that they would have to have this card design rock solid before talking to an app dev, and if they did it minus and brought it to a developer, the developer would cry at having such an organized client. My specialty is on the server side of things. If that doesn't work, I show them my website from the late 90s, that hasn't been updated since. They usually take the hint pretty quickly that I don't have a bone in my body. Ask for a salary saying that you are not prepared to be their company CEO. They will back off instantly. Tell them you charge $52 an hour and they have to buy the tubs of red beans. Once a guy gave me his brilliant idea for boat sharing. Like Zipcar but for boats. All I said was, you know you can already rent a boat, right? Anyway, that was back around 2012 and now apparently there are boat sharing apps, so I guess I missed the boat on that opportunity. Not a developer, but I am a product manager who works with a development team in which I act like a scrum master / business analyst in addition to product MGMT. Small company, so lots of hats. I usually don't politely refuse. I just start asking the questions that they'll need to know the answers to before anything gets built. These questions might differ based on whatever the app is supposed to do, but usually when you start asking about specifics, people realize they don't have even % of the information they need to actually do what they think should be easy. If they're a developer, then I usually ask more business-related questions. If they're a big idea person, then I usually ask more technical questions. Regardless, it usually works one of 2 ways. A. This person actually has a good idea and we can workshop it together and maybe something comes of it and maybe not. Or B. They realize that taking their idea and making something out of it isn't going to be a weekend job and they change the subject rather quickly. Who is the target user? How many of them exist? What are each of them willing or expected to pay? TAM/TSM projections. You can usually roll up a few numbers to get them to a back of the napkin P&L, which is often eye-opening. What does the basic architecture look like? What web services and tools would be needed to build the thing? What type of development environment would be required? High-level requirements. What does the data model look like, and can you give me the step-by-step logic that implements it? What's the throughput on this logic look like? What does a minimally viable product or prototype look like, and how far away from the complete product is the MVP? What are the barriers for others to enter the space once you've got this built? How do you acquire the first 10 users? First 100? What are your competitors like today? What are they likely to look like by the time you get your thing built? And #XB. I find that if I try to tell someone why their idea wouldn't work, then they argue with me. However, if I assume the idea will work, and start collecting the information about how it will work, then people will quickly bail on any idea they haven't really worked on. If they have really worked on it and can answer the basic questions, then I usually ask if we could set up some scheduled time to talk about it and enjoy the rest of the dinner / party / game / whatever we're currently doing. I tell them that I know consultants that are available and will help build it but it will take money. Barring that, I explain that ideas are a dime a dozen. It's execution that matters, and as the one doing the executing, a 51% stake in the company will be required. This gets them off my back every time. That sounds like a great idea. Here are some resources online where you can learn everything you need to make it happen. I have $1 million app idea at least once a day. But what I don't have is the capital to build it while I quit my job, or to pay for the advertising to make people to know it exists, or to pay for the brilliant salesman who will convince investors to give me Series R money to assemble a team, or the spare time to even assemble all of these things. $1 million apps don't come from programmers. They come from people who are capable of raising money and convincing others to work insane hours for little or no money. The app was the Uber for public parking spots. In NYC, not parking garages. Spots on the street. I asked for $150K up front. MG artist, but same battle. I don't have enough time to do it for free. Remind your family not to develop an app for them, only for your son-in-law to go and fuck it all up. If I thought it would actually work, I would have written it already. Idea was something about automatic Bitcoin and other coins, trading while having next to zero start capital. I refuse to work with friends and family, so I just tell them that I do not want to transform the relationship into a professional one. So let me get this straight. You've got a Wile E. Coyote idea and you want me to engineer it while you sit home and drink, and then take at least 50% of any profit. Got the t-shirt? Honestly, I'm not even polite about it. I'll be as firm and fantasy smashing as I am at work when it comes to real implementations of things. If you're still trapped in La La Land, I bid them good luck. Luckily all my friends are coders as well, and are well aware that I'm complete inept. So, I created a rather popular product for connecting lights together on a movie set several years ago. At one point, I had this random guy Jeff call me out of the blue, saying they got my number from someone on set. He wanted to make a lighting control app with all kinds of new innovative features and a cool layout and had never made an app before. Didn't know anything about, well, anything. He asked me what he should do. He's never made an app before, doesn't code, etc. I leveled with him that he was going to have to learn Swift, C, UMP5, etc. Have a good understanding of ARPANET and SACN protocols, do tons of market research, develop every aspect of a navigational style and layout, seek out and download tons of various libraries, get a graphic designer, etc. Oh, and about 100,000 capital for expenses minus just a sampling of the thousands of things he would have to do to even remotely entertain creating an app. I was trying to be accurate, but also convey a sense of magnitude for the project he was attempting to start. He simply said, "Okay, cool, thanks," in an enthusiastic tone and hung up. I figured that was the end of it and that he would go off and do something more practical. Something like 5 months later, I get a call minus hey, it's Jeff. So I did all the stuff you told me. It's going along well and I have the beta. Just need a GFX designer now. Want to try it out? The crazy MF went off and actually did it. The product is out now. By the way, it's called Blackout. It does what it set out to do, and lighting programmers gladly pay a small fortune to have that functionality on an iPad. Sometimes it works out. Edit. He's not a Redditor that I know of, but he approved of my telling of this when I shared it with him. Ask them to draw their idea in the form of an app on paper, screen by screen, as to what they actually want to see in their app. If they actually are dedicated to the idea, they'll do it, but most people won't. So you ask, if they did do it, hadn't happened yet, it's that effective. I ask them if they'd like a quote and it usually stops there. If they actually get to the point of scoping something basic, the quote scares them away. Add on ideas that make no sense and seem really firm and excited about them. Friend, I have an app idea I want you to work with me on. It's just eat but for pet food. Me. Fantastic, we can add a horse semen locator to find your nearest load or by volume. People will definitely need that. Do you know how much that stuff sells for? And it's all profit. Ask them to write a business plan and monetization plan. It usually dies on the vine. Subscribe, like and comment if you hate outros, begging you to subscribe, like and comment.